Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. And I participated in the Rapid Dutch Chess Youth Championship, if I am saying that correctly. And I am not exaggerating if I say that this is probably the hardest tournament I've ever participated in. And just to give you a perspective, a few other people from my age, in fact, everyone in the age group I was participating in, and it was like 2005 until 2008. Everyone was either as old as me or just like older than me. So, um, and not to mention that everyone was better than me at the game. Like we're talking about 2000 elo, 1800, etc., etc. And I was just 1200 elo on chess.com. So I was playing against a very tough competition at that time. And I'm gonna show you 7 rounds. And in those 7 rounds, I wanted to win at least one game. And in this video, we'll find out if I did so. So in the first game, I was playing against Veldhuizen Wayne. Sorry if I can't pronounce that name correctly, but played e4 and he played the Caro-Kann. We played the advanced variation where I push my pawns all the way into the center. And after bishop f5, bishop d3, I have seen this position multiple times. And either my opponent takes my bishop, retreats, or plays bishop d7. And I mean bishop d7 is like a move I think I've like shown in one of my videos where I just couldn't understand why my opponent played bishop d7. But no, my opponent took the bishop, and after some developing moves and queen b6, knight f3, he played c5. I have to defend this pawn. I can't just defend with my bishop because otherwise there's queen b2 trapping my rook and I'll lose the game. So I can't quite play that. The engine says I should play d takes c5, which is the best move, but instead of that I played b3 to prevent this queen b2 tricks and to enable bishop e3. Eventually he takes and takes, and then he plays rook c8, and rook c8 is a bit of an awkward move for reasons I will explain right now. Because he played knight b4, I have to do something with my queen, but if I play queen b2, there's rook c2 attacking my queen, which I will have to move again. But instead of playing rook c2, he played knight c2. The idea of knight c2 is to take my rook on a1. I cannot do anything with my rook. So yeah, just as the queen b2 line I showed earlier, my rook is kind of trapped. So instead of trying to find a way to free my rook, I tried to counterattack with rook c1. The point is, if he takes, I will take with check. King d7, I will take the bishop, and I'm up material. But he didn't play that. He played bishop b4, attacking my queen. Now I move my queen. He has queen c6. And now, as you can see, there are 2 defenders on this knight. I only have 2 attackers, which means that the side with defenders will win. And then I wanted to get rid of his bishop. I did so with a3, but I missed this crucial move, knight takes e4. The point is, it looks like a free knight, but he opened the file of his queen and rook. If I take his queen, he takes my queen with check, and he takes my rook. Yes, I can either take his bishop or knight. It doesn't really matter, but at the end of the day, you can pretty much just count the material. He has 2 rooks, 2 knights. I have 2 knights, a bishop, and a rook, which means I'm down in exchange. So that was not the line I was hoping for. So instead of, I just took the knight, he took my rook with check, and after takes queen f1, rook takes f1. We get this endgame where we're still equal on material, but after bishop c5, I have to retreat my knight, and this is still quite an endgame to play out. Some moves later, I decided to go for a knight sacrifice. This was somehow this is the best move according to the computer. I don't know why, but the blunder here is what was it? Yeah, my plan was that if knight takes d5, then rook c8 check with a skewer on the rook. So after this, I'll take his rook. But I forgot that black can also take with the pawn, and now I'm a bit in a lot of trouble because now I'm down a piece because I don't have this rook c8 trick because he'll take my rook, and instead I'll have to play more active. Now in this position, black is still better if he pushes this pawn. The reason why you want to push this pawn and sacrifice this pawn is because this pawn is a passed pawn. If this becomes a queen, black will easily win the game. However, black was scared of my rook on c7, so he played bishop b8, inducing me to play rook b7, allowing me to get this knight d4 tactic, because if he takes, there's this check with a skewer on the rook, as I just showed you before. And if he doesn't take my knight, and let's say he takes this, then I'll take his knight. And I mean, this is kind of what happened in the game. I'll play rook a7, I attack the pawn, I also attack this square for a potential skewer on the back rank. And after rook a6 and rook e8, I am simply have two pawns against black, who has only one pawn. So in theory, I should win this game because I have a pawn majority. And after knight d4, blocking this pawn for ever promoting, we have bishop e5 attacking the knight, knight f3. I move my rook, he pushes his pawn. He has the threat of rook e1 if my knight wasn't defending it, but that's something I should look out for. I play g3 to give my king some space and to enable the movement of this knight, because again, rook e1 is a potential threat if my knight isn't there. We have rook a8 attacking this pawn. I decided to take his pawn. And after knight c6, rook b3, this is kind of a critical moment because I want to keep this pawn alive if possible. But unfortunately, after he gives me a check, he can actually just take my pawn. And we're simply in an endgame where we just completely equal material. Now, I will say that my opponent offered me a draw around this time, I don't know when, and the logical approach for me is to just accept the draw because I'm only like down to 19 seconds, I didn't have like a lot of time, but I decided to play on anyway. Eventually we traded rooks, and right about here, yes, this is the big blunder I made, king f3. I should have went back because when I did play king f3, he has this, the opposition. Yeah, that's the blunder I made in this position. I should have went what was it, king e3 so in case he does get king f5, I play king f3 now with black to move. Yeah, this is simply a drawn endgame because of this opposition. So he didn't see this this entire line, which is, I mean, it is understandable with only 1 minute on the clock. So he played on until we got this position. I decided to trade the pawns, and we ended the game in a draw. So yeah, round 1 didn't very go well. I could have won this game if I'm being completely honest. However, yeah, it's very hard to play against these people who are simply way more aware of tactics like knight b4, and I mean, quite frankly, I should have seen this this knight e4 thing and calculated everything. But that's okay. We still have 6 more rounds to go. In round number 2, I was playing against Niels van Hapen, and I was playing with the black pieces. We played an Italian game with c3. Now normally I don't know what to play against the c3 setup, but I tend to play d5, which wasn't the best move, at least that's according to the computer and according to my opponent after telling me in this game. But I played it anyway because after takes, and castles, this position looked completely fine. Here, white had the opportunity to play queen b3 to kind of laser attack me on this diagonal. I still have knight h5, queen h4, and like this crazy line where white takes a free pawn, so that's why this whole d5 nonsense was not good. But he didn't see this, so he just took and castled. And after playing rook e1, I was kind of doubting the defense of my pawn, because it's now attacked twice and defended once. So I needed a way to defend it. Now the engine is saying like just ignore the pawn and play bishop g4, which is not a move I would play. Instead I played f6, and f6 is like the move Benjamin Feingold would scream at me and kick me out of every chess tournament I would ever play. Unfortunately for me though, Benjamin Feingold isn't here, so we played d4 and bishop g5. I allowed him to take on e5, and funny thing is I can't take back because of queen takes d5. So instead I played knight b6, and here was my opponent played a move which I just did not expect, and that was queen c2, letting the bishop to capture. If I did take, there was queen g6, king f8, and queen takes bishop, and this looked very bad. But apparently it wasn't so bad. It was actually the best move. So I was like, okay, I don't want to have queen g6, so I blocked it. I'll block this diagonal with f5. I did allow the bishop into my position, but that's okay. I continued with g6, and after trading my bishop for the knight, I wanted to get rid of this bishop, and the way I was gonna do that is by kind of planting my queen on e7, and yeah, here I kind of sacrificed my well, it's not a sacrifice. I mean, if he takes, I take like this. It's an equal trade. So yeah, that was my plan of getting the bishop away, and it kind of did work. I gave a check, and after the king moves, this was a very critical position, because as you can see from the evaluation, I'm better, and I'm only better if I play bishop takes pawn. And I mean, he could play knight f1, but let's say if he did take rook h2, sacrificing the rook, queen f2, king h1, and king e7. I mean, I think I could have also castled. No, because of queen takes pawn. Okay, no, I had to play king e7, bishop g8, rook takes bishop, and it really doesn't matter what you play, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be checkmate. And that was my only opportunity to at least have a winning chance. Of course, he didn't have to take my bishop. He could have played knight f1. That didn't happen because I was calculating this. Bishop takes pawn move, but in the game I touched my queen, and because of the touch move rule, and because this is an over the board tournament and all, I had to move my queen, which resulted in me blundering and losing the game entirely. So that means I'm half a point out of 2 rounds, and this wasn't looking very great for me. In the next round, I was playing against Nirupa Ganeshram, who played a Sicilian against me, and this dragon Sicilian went pretty calm, I would say. We did trade bishops on d7, and yeah, my plan was to just develop as much. Yeah, this bishop h6 move is a pretty common move if you want to attack the king side on these Sicilian positions. It ended up not doing a lot except for trading the bishops when I needed to. Here I played knight d5, which is the best move to attack the queen. We traded one piece, and then after knight f6, I was attacking his pawn, and he's attacking my pawn. So the best move is to play queen g5, defend this pawn, which is attacked by this knight, keep pressure on this pawn, and still maintaining defense of this pawn. However, I didn't do that. I played knight f3, thinking I could defend this pawn and maintain the pressure on this pawn. However, I forgot to maintain defense on this pawn, which resulted in me losing a pawn. So, in short, I did lose a pawn right in the first like 20 moves. I could have taken this pawn, although it really wouldn't have mattered, as after the queen trade, there's like rook c2, the rook is active. I mean, I'm pretty convinced that black is better regardless. So I didn't go for this rook e7. She kept attacking my queen, which is very annoying, but that's okay. That's life. And after, yeah, this is a pretty dumb mistake of me, allowing a free pawn to be captured. And I eventually took one of her pawns, so I could get a queen trade. But after rook takes b2, it was pretty much lost. I allowed them to get a very active positions with their pieces, and yeah, no, I don't think I have a lot to say about this game, except for the fact that I lost pretty convincingly. I didn't resign because I don't want to, and yeah, this went for a pretty long while. As you can see, this pawn is about to promote. I managed to stop it, but I had to trade rooks, and yeah, I don't know. This is just very easily winning. And yeah, that's 3 rounds down and only got half a point. In round number 4, I was playing against Pax Duisterwinkel. We played a normal e4, e5 opening, and after we both castled kingside, he decided to straight up attack me with his own h and g pawns. And I was kind of scared of this because I didn't know how to defend. He took my pawn and got his bishop into my territory, and this was very scary at first, but then I managed to shove my king to the corner and have this defense where like my rook is behind my king, my bishop is in front of my king, and after trading for a bit, I managed to get my queen into the center, which eventually helped because now I am the one attacking him. And I did get greedy to take a pawn. I did allow queen e7 possibilities, but he didn't play it, so it's all fine. We traded rooks, and after this check, I was supposed to go back, but I played queen takes c3, attacking the rook, which is the wrong move, because even though it wins a pawn, it allows for a much bigger attack on this file. But most importantly, my queen is lined up with this queen, so the only thing white needed is a discover check. Now my king is in check while also my queen is attacked at the same time. And this was, I remember when I was playing this move, this queen takes c3, my opponent was so confused. He was like, what? Why did you play this move? So he played this check, and I was like, okay, it's game over already. And quite frankly, it was game over, because I could not find any single opportunity to make some kind of comeback, and yeah, I just lost this game very convincingly. I was playing against Jonathan Hannessen. We played a Caro-Kann, which is the same opening we played in the last game. The only difference being is that my opponent in round number 1 played bishop f5, and in this round he played c5. So we went into this position where I developed a few pieces, but I somehow, some way, I don't know why, but I managed to blunder 2 pawns in the center, which is kind of ridiculous, but yeah, it happens. So I was already at a worse position at move, what was it, move 13, and then he decided to trade a lot of pieces, and yeah, I mean we're exactly at a queen and rook endgame, but he's up 2 pawns to be exact, and he castled queen g5. I did try to get some counterplay to get a checkmate, but for some reason he just saw the checkmate and played g6, which is kind of surprising, I'm not gonna lie. I allowed his rook into the game, and I blundered this fork, which is not really smart of me. But yeah, I mean, after queen d5, I tried to take his pawn on a7, but it's simply over after queen e5 check, g3, and right about here, yeah, this is where it was basically checkmate. He took my rook, and according to Lichess, it says black is victorious, but I think in the game I played queen takes e2 and rook h1. This is what happened in the game, I believe, but I don't think digital board recorded everything. But anyway, that was a pretty quick loss for me. Speaking of quick losses, in the 6th round of this tournament, I played against, who was it? Simon de Grauw. And one thing I didn't expect from this guy is he has a lot of opening knowledge, and with that I mean a lot. We played the Scotch game, and he played this variation where he sacrifices the d-pawn, which, to be fair, I have not played at all. Like maybe once or twice, or maybe 3 times, but I don't know what to play against this pawn sacrifice. So I just decided to defend my pawn and to take his pawn, but somehow he gets into this bishop f7 idea, and my natural move is just to take the bishop, of course, because why not? Of course, he has this fork with his bishop, but instead of taking my bishop, he just gave me a check. And these were like all the best moves. He remembered everything. Like even this was the best move. And yeah, the way I lost this game was just simply because I didn't have that opening knowledge. I didn't know that much about the Scotch. Eventually he went in with his knight. I tried to take a free pawn, but it's all too late. I blundered my knight, and yeah. Funny move, bishop h3. It didn't really matter, it was gonna be checkmate anyway. So yeah, that's how the game ended. Pretty fast in 20 moves. That brings us to the last game or round of this tournament. This was round 7 against Dejan Oskan, and we played a Russian defense where I took his pawn and he played d6. He played this variation where he allowed a early queen trade, which I was kind of confused about. I mean, I thought as a higher rated player, which he is, he's like 2100 in Blitz, at least that's what he told me. I thought as a higher rated player you wanted to not, you tend to not allow early queen trades, but he still did, I guess, which is completely fine. We're still equal. All he had to do is win this game, and he would get like, I think 3rd place, or like he would get top 3 in his age category. I kind of didn't want to win the game because I did want to give him the top 3, but on the other hand, I still wanted to prove that I could still win against these players. So I did with knight d5, and knight d5 is a very, very good move. The point is, if you take, I'll take your rook with the check, and if you don't take, let's say bishop e7, this blunders a fork, and I was very proud of this move, especially against like a player like him. He did defend well with bishop d8, defending this pawn, and after knight d4 attacking the bishop, he played c6. I retreated my knight. I had this ultimate knight and rook formation. Bishop g5 was countered with g3. Knight d7, h4. He could take, but he retreated, which allowed me to actually win a pawn, because after takes and knight takes e6, I am pretty much a pawn up. Rook e8 was countered with bishop h3, and after king f7, the logical move is to play knight f5, or knight f4, excuse me, to defend this e2 square. And yes, it is the best move, but I just wanted to go for this unnecessary knight sacrifice, because after he takes, I take. I am up a pawn, and I traded a piece, which is my goal. But I did allow rook e8, as opposed to, what's the other position? As opposed to knight f4. I'm defending this this square, so I don't allow rook e8 in the first place. But it's all good. After rook e8, my opponent told me I had to play bishop c8 and to be more active. So if he would take my pawn, I would take back, and something like this would happen. I would probably give a check. I had to play more active, is what he said after the game. But instead I played rook f1. And rook f1 is way too slow, because now his bishop comes into the game, and I was in a lot of trouble now. Even though I was up a pawn, that was soon going to change, because after rook d2, king e1, and rook takes pawn, we're now equal material. I still gave a check, and now I'm down in material. I was going the wrong direction already, and I didn't know what to do. So I went bishop g8, going to the opposite side of the board, and my only hope was to maybe pin this bishop to the king, but of course that was not going to do anything. He was going to defend it with king d4, and after he took my pawn, I played bishop g2, but then I realized, wait, after f4 the bishop has limited options, right? So he played rook g2, I played rook d1, and when I played rook d1 I was like, wait a minute, maybe I'm winning this game. And after king c3, I played rook d3 check, which is a fork on the king and the bishop, and my opponent resigned the game. I was so happy to win against a higher rated player. And I mean, this just goes to show that even from a completely losing position, I was able to turn things around and get this this win. And I think this also goes to show that even though that I'm like 1200 on chess.com, I'm still able to compete against these very strong players. I think it's not impossible to get 1555 elo on chess.com, even though I said in the previous video that it was. Like I know I'm at the strength of like an 1800 probably, but I wasn't able to show that in my games on chess.com. So yeah, that is kind of the end of the video. I ended up with getting 3rd place in the 2008 category, and to be fair, there were only 3 people participating in the 2008 category. Honestly, all of this kind of didn't matter in terms of my result of getting 3rd place. But anyhow, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, I guess. Goodbye.